Hello, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. We are going over the how to 10x your podiatry practice. Okay, and I'm going over different tips in these weekly updates. This week, I'm going to be going over the 5 tips to get abundantly more done. Actually, to get things done, more stuff done, to get it done better, and actually in the same or less amount of time. So I'm going to give you my top 5 tips. So I'm going to start with my number one favorite tip that I wish I had done probably about 10 years ago. It is using a scribe. I know we've kind of heard scribes kind of coming and going, and there are some downfalls to scribes. My concern was, well, what happens if the scribe left? I thought about having a scribe that was here in my practice. You can get a scribe that's going to be a NP or a PA. And truthfully, my first scribe only lasted about 3 months, and he took me about 3 months to train him, and I was super happy. And then he left, and I vowed I would never do it again. But then scribe number 2 came around. His name is Morali, and he is excellent. He was a transcriptionist for 20 years. And now he is my scribe, and he is about the same age. And so I'm hoping he'll retire when I retire. That's kind of the whole goal. You would like to find a scribe that's younger than you and then wants to stick with it. Now, he is in my pocket. He is in this little device, not listening right now because I mute him. So I mute him when I do these things. And when I go to the bathroom, by the way, you just want to mute your scribe. And he does my notes, so he listens in. Occasionally there's some glitches, like the internet drops or the phone call drops, but he's with me all day. I pay him hourly, and he's great, and he does all the notes. And so it took me about a month to train him. So a really good scribe, you should be able to train in about a month. And I started kind of my process was to train him first just by watching me. So I logged into Microsoft Teams on my computer in my office, and then I shared my screen, and then he was watching me and I was talking him how to do it. And then as he gets more comfortable, he picks it up, and then I teach him how to do things. And frankly, now his notes are better than my notes because he's more detailed. So some examples is a lot of times I had a patient, let's say I was doing 2 to 4 calluses, and then the patient really had 5, but I didn't want to go in the extra work to change the note. But now with Morali, I just tell him, hey, there's 5 calluses. Here's where the other one is. Or a lot of things I was just kind of giving away because it took me more time to change the note than I thought it was worth in terms of my own time. So I'm much better at doing my notes, especially at documenting the procedures. And he comes in on Fridays about an hour before, and he scrubs the notes, meaning he looks for everyone that birthday is a month before or a month after that date. We're in July right now, so he's going to look in June and in August. And if their birthday is in June, July, or August, he's going to do a CDFE on that patient. That's how I do my CDFEs around their birthday. And he's going to also schedule them for PADNET or ABI. And so he does all that. And so that's all that added revenue. Just to, if you have an idea, it's been about 3 months that I've been using him, and my revenue is at least increased about 30,000 per month with him. So it's more than paid off probably for him actually being with me. It's paid off his whole year, probably salary is almost paid off in that 1 month. Okay, so that's the first. If you can do one thing, would be finding a scribe. If you want to reach out to me, you can ask me. I can tell you who I use. I don't get paid. Maybe I will eventually, but I do have information about that. One of my future master classes, I'm going to talk about how to use and how to train a scribe, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but the second one is a lot easier, and I've learned better how to train them. Tip number 2. Improve your templates. So there's a gentleman, his name is Ari Meisel, and I interviewed him in one of the previous Podiatry Practice Mastery podcasts that I did. I'm going to put a link to that Ari Meisel one underneath here. And for Ari, he talks about optimizing, automating, and then outsourcing. And so what I'm going to tell you is before I used a scribe, I improved my templates. So improving the templates, the procedures, everything that's there, it makes it a lot easier for then you to delegate that. If I didn't have really good templates, it would be harder. Like he would just be a transcriptionist. So that's the second thing I would recommend you doing would be improving your templates. Okay. For how do you do that? Well, you do your EMR, and you make them for the diagnoses. So I have procedure templates. I have all these other types of templates. If you don't have my templates, you go to Podiatry Practice Mastery /capital EMR, capital E, capital M, capital R. You can get all of my templates there. If you do use Athena, you can just reach out to your rep and see if they can transfer. It's kind of a pain to do it, but they can, if they know how to do it the right way, they can transfer my templates into your EMR. Okay, so making your own templates, it's tip number 2 to get more time done because you don't have to type as much. Number 3 would be using time block for patients and for other tasks. So the example would be like surgical time blocks. We all get our like once a month or twice a month or every Wednesday, you get your block time. That's when you do your surgery. So I tend to do block time for other things. I have block time for routine care, which is my Fridays. And it was a full day, and it's going to be transitioning to a half day because we have a new provider that's going to do more of that. So it's going to reduce the amount of time. I had block time when I was learning how to use ultrasound. I had block time for my ultrasounds so I could learn how to do that better. I have block time for my shockwave because I've focused in radial at one office. And so I had all my patients go to that office, and that was on Mondays, and they would all do it at the same time. So kind of one after another. So using kind of block time can be beneficial. You can also use block time to record videos like I'm doing right now. I'm using my lunch hour. This block time is the time that I can use to do these videos. I can also use it to interview people, and you set time with yourself in your calendar. I use Calendly to set up things with other people, like my interviews with other people that I do. So using that block time can be very beneficial for your tasks. And then the tip number 4 to get a lot more done would be using a virtual assistant. So there are a lot of different ways you can use a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant basically is someone that you can just delegate to. I'm using one currently that's called Curing Busy. You can look up curingbusy.com. I've used Fiverr to set up like my PowerPoints, kind of design my PowerPoints. I've used them to edit my website. I've used assistants like to print things. You can use assistants to Google search things. There's a couple of websites like Fiverr has a lot of assistants that you could use. Fancy Hands is another one that you could use to do things. But I think having a virtual assistant is a good idea. I've never had any personal virtual assistants. Most of them are remote. And the biggest tip I have, if you're using a virtual assistant, would be to set time aside to meet with them weekly. So the different companies that I have to do things, like some do my YouTube videos, others do for Podiatry Practice Mastery. I set aside time for them once a week, usually at like on Wednesdays from 7 to 8, where I meet with them for 30 minutes and we go over what they've done and what my future tasks are. I walk them through, I correct any things, they have to be teachable. But I find meeting with a virtual assistant personally, or at least via Zoom, can deepen the relationship and helps them to get a lot more done. In the past, the mistake I made is I tried to just delegate everything. I tried to do it via WhatsApp and just, hey, do this, without having that relationship. It helps much more to have that relationship and then invite them to be part of things. Okay, so they kind of know what you're doing. And then the last tip to get more done is to schedule time with yourself. And what I mean by that is you need time, like get more done. You have to schedule your free time on the weekends. Kind of don't do any business on the weekend. You need that time for yourself. You need that time for your massage or for your family or for other things like that. I tend to avoid doing any business work on Saturday and Sunday. I don't check my email. I don't have it logged into my phone. I don't have my business email there. Like it's gonna wait till Monday. It's gonna be fine. Unless I'm on call, I'll take a call from patients. But you need time for yourself as well to regenerate. That's called free days. Within this program that I go to called Strategic Coach. You need these free days to have more time to kind of revitalize yourself. Okay. What I'm going to talk about next week are the 5 sales tips every podiatrist should know to improve your practice profits by 10x. So what are the sales tips? We're going to go over 5 of those next week. And by the way, there's a special offer I'm going to put underneath this video. For those of you that haven't joined the Practice Mastery Academy, I'm making it super cheap. It's $20 for the first 2 months. There's a special link underneath here. That's where you can get it. It's the only place you can get it. If you're listening to this, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any other comments, please reach out to me. But I would certainly join Podiatry Practice Mastery, the Practice Mastery Academy. I put everything in there. If you're going to use it, it's certainly worth it. And I have many people, they just stay month by month. So once you finish your 2 months, then it's kind of a low amount just to keep going with that. Okay. Once again, until next week. Thanks, guys.